This game, Arteezy, like, what he was doing was he was farming until a point in the game where he felt strong enough that he can overwhelm the enemy team. During the time that you're farming, if you try to go fight the enemy and you die, that's the worst possible thing that can happen as a carry. In the game, you need to really assess at what point are you stronger than the enemy, and then use that advantage to keep them down. This game, we got ourselves Fuzzy Wuzzy by Arteezy. One of the reasons why I chose this replay and want to watch him play carry Ursa is because I feel it's something that he doesn't play a whole lot. But when he feels like he needs to play a high tempo game and wants to be aggressive, this is the kind of hero that he goes to. Now, as a Ursa player, you might think this hero is not that good late game or it falls off, but the way that Arteezy plays it, he makes it as if it's a hard carry. And it's very interesting hero, and it's one of the heroes that Arteezy has actually played a lot in the past. So, start this game, enemy team already starting off with the first blood, very unfortunate. He has 6 tangos, he's going for a slipper, he will buy a Wraith Band on Ursa. Not something that you normally see, but it's a very good stat item early on. Earthshaker, fissure blocking the first wave, so the wave is in a really unfortunate place, so the Ursa can't lane. Now Lich is an amazing partner for Ursa because he has multiple slows that can help Ursa kill the enemy. Sometimes you can go Orb of Venom on him, but Arteezy chooses to not go for Orb of Venom. He prefers this Wraith Band Power Chuds build, apparently. So we'll see how that works out and why it's good. So, start of the game, he pulls the creeps. He didn't want to take it into the tower. He makes a rotation around to make sure that the creep wave is in front of the tower, not in the tower, so he has the potential to chase down the Mars all the way here, because that's the power of Ursa, right? He's really good against melee offlaners or cores, and as long as the wave is right up here, he has a lot more space to chase them down. So level 1, he gets the Fury Swipes, level 2, he gets the Earthshock. Without the Fury Swipes, it's really hard for you to last it. As you can see, your base damage is not very high. And his support is getting killed, but that's okay because there's too many creeps under his tower anyway. He's got to just make sure that he plays for his XP and gold first, and once he's high enough level, he can start hitting the enemy core. Now, if the enemy core was in the lane, he would have actually been maybe hitting him once or twice every time the Lich uses his Frost Blast. So now the enemy is pulling the creep wave behind the tower. So what Arteezy does is the same exact thing. He pulls the creep wave behind his tower. Now both of these guys are going to lose one entire wave, but that's okay because there's nothing really you can do. There's no real counterplay to this apart from your support going there and leeching the experience. So as a carry player, you just gotta pull that wave all the way behind here. So here you can see he just denies off the entire creep wave. The enemy denies off this creep wave, which is unfortunate, but you know, you gotta suck it up as a carry sometimes. It'll happen 1 or 2 waves sometimes, so just move on, right? So next item, he goes Boots. He doesn't go Orb of Venom. So Orb of Venom is really good at harassing the enemy and getting kills, but in these kind of situations where the enemy is just like pulling the creep waves, he just goes for the Boots so he can get that early movement speed, and then also the Power Chuds, which allows them to farm faster and also have bigger power spikes in the laning stage. Some people like Phase Boots, it's very good, but I believe Power Chuds allows you to farm more than Phase Boots does, where Phase Boots is more of like a kill item for Ursa.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
So there we go, his build is 404, he doesn't even get 1 level in overpower, and that kind of makes sense because he does want to go for like the Power Chuds. And if his lane was a little bit harder, he would have went for the Wraith Band, but he decided not to buy the Wraith Band. He just skipped it for now.
Gold and sweet.
So his Lich dying again, but that's okay. His job is again just to keep focusing on the experience. Now, while they follow the Lich, the Mars is not getting a lot of creep kills, and the Ursa at the same time is getting a lot of solo experience. So he's like level 5.5. He's not too concerned. If you look at the last, is 29. Mars has 8. That's why he's following the Lich as well, because he knows it's very hard to lane against the Ursa. And now he's got Power Chuds, super nice. So what he does with Power Chuds is every time he uses the Shockwave, he can just Power Chud switch into Int, use the spell, and then go to Agility when he's attacking, so he gets that extra attack speed as well. And here, while he was farming, he notices that there's a fight breaking out mid lane, and he TPs into this, mainly because he has that Power Chuds. It makes him very strong. He's got level 3 Fury Swipes. So now he TPs to the mid lane, starts hitting the Dragon Knight. Got Agility, Power Chuds. He's got a lot of attack speed, but you know, the Shaker just kind of saves him. And he doesn't really want to dive too deep into the tower because he doesn't want to lose HP, right? He's only level 5 and it feels bad if he will die here. And he ends up dying anyway. So at the end of the day, I think this TP was actually very, very bad by him. you should have just settled for like TPing to protect your team and just going back top to farm. Because he TP middle, now he doesn't have a TP for top lane, and he also gonna lose a lot of experience, and it feels extremely bad, right? And this Mars just got level 5 on. So the Mars is like pretty much equal level as to Arteezy's Ursa after pretty much making him a non-factor in this game. Now, he picked up a Wind Lace for some extra movement speed. Also walked back to the top lane. So Clockwork is here, will help him kill the Mars. And he's back top to farm because he's got to get that levels up. Like Ursa is very big on having to get levels, and what he's doing right now is just using his intreads to use shockwave to farm creeps. Like it's like an AoE damage spell, right? So it's kind of nice for him to use that to push out lanes. At level 4 it does 225 damage on a 6-second cooldown. It's very nice. And you've seen him like just use the intreads just to like use that shockwave just to be able to farm a bit faster. He got 57 last hits. Normally you don't see Ursa having so many last hits because obviously a lot of players go that overpower build and the Fury Swipes, but the way Arteezy likes to play, he's just going 404. He'd even skill his Enrage. Now I wouldn't recommend this because in your games probably you will have a tough time if you do this. It's a really nice escape spell. So he just maxes out the shockwave and the Fury Swipes, and this makes sense as to why he's going power treads, right? Because he's not putting any points into overpower. It's literally only 3 attacks and it costs more mana, so he'd rather just use the shockwave to push out lanes and farm jungle with it and get those items early on so he can scale better in the game and also get levels faster, right? High levels Ursa equals killing a lot of heroes. So now he's got 4-man shield, leaves it in his backpack. He's using the Keen Optic because he gives him mana regen, not because of the range or anything like that, just for the casual mana regen. Got a magic wand, very nice for him. And you can see like 10 minutes in, he's not too focused on trying to fight. Like he realizes the first time he TP mid, that was a disaster, so he's actually more focused on getting his items now, and he's making sure nobody can come into this top lane. Because he's here, none of the enemy heroes want to contest him in this lane. Because he's an Ursa. He's like, nobody wants to run into an Ursa and start fighting an Ursa, right? He's just gonna turn around and fight you back. Now he's got that Enrage. And again, just keep using the intreads, use the shockwave, just keep farming up. He's getting so much farm. He's got 100 last hits already. He's got the most in this game, and that's all because he's this hero who the enemy can't touch, and at the same time just using the shockwaves to farm faster. Now he jumps mid, kills the PA. He's got a Yasha now, so that gives him more movement speed and more attack speed.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And just making his way into the Ancients area where he can just get a little bit more XP and gold, and just allowing his team to do base making for the time being.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And the enemy team took a lot of towers in this game, but they don't seem like they're strong enough to fight at the moment. And just AFK farming. More and more, just the same rotations, getting Sanj and Yasha. And now the first time he enters a team fight is because there's a fight nearby him, bottom lane. And they're going on the bristleback. And he realizes in this fight, they're going to be very low health. The first target he wants to go for is going to probably be the Enchantress, because she's extremely squishy and she's a support, want to burst them. Now he's got the SMI, he just starts running at them. I mean, by now, like, his team is very far ahead, right? And he's just, like, trying to play with this team at this point in the game. With his Sanj and Yasha. And they're just playing this, like, you know, go in and just fight with your team kind of thing. And the enemy just don't have any space to be able to fight back because they got very weak heroes in the mid game. Like, PA and Deacon need a lot of items, right? And after his SNY, he got that Morbid Mask, some extra lifesteal going, and with that he can just easily pick up Roshan. And you really need the Morbid Mask in order to be able to take Roshan. And now that he's level 14, he's got that max level overpower and everything is leveled up. Look at the experience in this game. He's level 15, and that's all because he went for this like shockwave build and like farmed up a little bit, so he got that extra levels over the enemy. And that means no matter what fight he takes, he's probably going to be the strongest guy in the team fight. Now, his team made a lot of space for him to be able to do this. But even if your team isn't doing too hot in the game, As long as you go like this super stat item build, it's gonna be really nice. Like Blink Dagger, these phase boots items, they tend to fall off sometimes, right? But these kind of builds, like, they make you really tanky and they just allow you to like push out lanes and farm more as well, even when the enemy is just hiding and you can't really get to them and kill them. At this point they feel like, you know, they just can't get out on the map because the Ursa has pushed a lane in, his team has pushed a lane in over here, and they just keep running around the map and just killing whoever tries to farm outside of this range on the map. And now he's got a Basher, perfect item. Basher, Abyssal, like, ever since Abyssal has been changed, where like you can jump them, like that's been the Blink Dagger for Ursa, right? Ursas just don't buy Blinks. It's just, it doesn't give you any stats and it's just not worth it. Like net worth here. And his net worth is like so far up in this game. PA is actually not a bad hero against Ursa at all because the Ursa can't hit her because of the blur. But it doesn't really matter in this game because the fast tempo mid game that Ursa has. And you can see how he's doing. Like he went top lane, and after he farmed the top lane or kill someone, he actually starts running middle and back to bottom. He keeps running back and forth in this area of the map. Like once he got enough items, he's still killing creep waves. But he's killing creep waves by like going back and forth like this to make sure that nobody can farm. After he pushes bottom out, he goes top because he just showed himself in the bot lane, so he thinks that the PA will not see him come top to gank him. Now, in this higher MR games, the PA is a good player, so he ran away. But in some other games, this would definitely work out better for you to actually catch these enemy carries, especially when you go off the map. Now, big fight happening mid. Again, the same thing. He was here, right? And then he went top. He went to this creep wave. Didn't see anyone, and now he starts running back mid lane. He just keeps running back and forth around this map, from top to mid to bottom, killing creep waves, and if any hero comes along his way, he's just gonna kill them. And by doing this, nobody can pass this area. So essentially, Dire have taken over more than 70% of this game. And at 50 minutes, they didn't even have a giant goalie, but he had a lot of experience on the Ursa and good items. But here he goes behind the tower, gets a bit caught out. His teammate's not ready to help him out, so he's gonna die. And if you look at Radiant items, they're behind in kills a little bit, but they farmed still quite a lot. The PA is about to get his Aghanims. Right now, Arteezy's thinking like, okay, so I just need to finish this Abyssal Blade. It's gonna be really nice for me. And then after that, I can just, you know, burst anybody I want on the Radiant team. Maybe not the PA because of the blur, but others will die. And because he's dead, Arteezy is dead, they make a very aggressive play. And unfortunately, the Earthshaker dies. And the Bristleback is just too strong. The Bristleback is not the target that you want to go on if you're Radiant, that's for sure. And Arteezy right now is thinking like, well, bless my team, they're doing extremely good now. And as you can see, like this, his pattern on moving on the map after he's ahead here is just to keep playing like this. Back to the mid lane he goes. Nope, someone else will clear that. He goes back to top, makes sure the lanes are pushed out. Now remember, as an Ursa, it's hard to push into the high ground and take enemy towers. So it's much better for you to like farm up your items and keep moving around the map and looking for kills. Because this hero is really great at doing that. So here he comes into the T-fight again. Top, back to mid lane. Jumps the Dragon Knight with his Abyssal. Gets that kill on the Dragon Knight. Feels really good for the Ursa. You get kills like that. And here he goes, back bottom. It's like this entire game, right? After he got this SNY, all he's been doing is making these plays like this non-stop. And even without his SNY, even with the Yasha and power treads, like he would definitely join team fights if he realizes when he's looking at it, it's a good time to fight. And now that he's bottom, where is he gonna go next? Middle. Oh, middle, creep wave is pushed. Okay, then we go top. It's like he's just never allowing anyone to pass this area of the map. It's actually a very impressive way to play Ursa, but also other strong carries that can keep the enemy down or kill people by themselves. You can always do this. And just make sure that the enemy just don't cross this area of the map, but just running back and forth. Now we can take a look at this game. Like these players are very high MMR players. 100, rank 5, rank 400, 135, rank 8. So there's like 2 players who are in the top 5 in this game. And this is exactly what he needs to do to be able to like contest them and make sure that they don't get out of hand.
Radiant's top tower
And now he's
is under
going for
attack.
an MKB. That's going to be the best item against the PA. He's got his second Aegis now. That's a very easy
Radiant's top
thing
tower
for
has fallen.
Ursa to always
Invisibility.
kill off. And again, the same thing he does. Just keep playing like this and keep farming. As you can see, if you look at his last hits, he's got 228, the highest on his team. So it's not just like running around mindlessly lane after lane. He is running around meeting creep waves, but along those creep waves, if you meet someone, he will just kill them. And every time he does that, the enemy feels really bad.
Radiant's middle barracks are under
Just like that, they take this track. So one thing I want to show is like, if I go to Radiant Vision in this game, look what happens because of like the way that Arteezy is playing, right? If you look at the PA, they can't cross the map too hard because of this Ursa everywhere.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
So we're gonna see here. Every time they cross the map past this point, they just get killed off every single time. I'm gonna keep fast forwarding and show that. We'll watch the perspective of the Dragonite. PA does have a blur, so she can go into much more scarier positions, but the rest of their team not so lucky. Again, they pass the river here, they die top lane. Again, Dragonite want to go for the mid wave, he immediately needs to Shadow Blade out. And the PA who was bottom got pushed out by the Ursa who TP'd down there.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And look at this PA now. She can only farm one wave top because we remember when I showed you that the Ursa went into fog and TP'd here? Yeah, he was already looking for PA and the PA knew that and he ran away from that area of the map. And then mid lane, once again, oh, cross this area, boom, get jumped by this Ursa. Once you get ahead of Ursa, you shouldn't like mindlessly try to fight, but more like try to limit the amount of farm that the enemy gets. I feel like most Ursa players in this situation, they just like start running at you, but they always throw because they're like diving deep behind towers to run at you and kill you. But good players, especially rank 1 players, they're gonna be content with you like sitting in front of your tower. They don't care. They're okay like farming all of this else while you're just sitting behind your tower. Whenever you cross the tower, that's the time they kill you. A very impressive game by Arteezy to just keep on moving around the map back and forth in this area once he hits like one big item. Sanjin Yasha is very good. It's very good item. It gives you movement speed, right? And it gives you status resistance. It's all like amazing against these heroes. So that's how you see in this game, as soon as he got the SNY, that's the time that he felt stronger, and then he got the mask, got a kill on someone, went to a Roshan, got the Aegis, and ever since he got that Aegis, he never left the enemy side of the map. But before that, he was just trying to amplify his farm as much as he can, and that's why you saw the skill build that he went for in this game, and why he also bought power treads. So that he can farm faster and amplify his speed in the early game, so his mid-game timings hit faster, where he knows that's when he can overwhelm Radiant's lineup.